Hi, I'm Dan Stanton, editor of Bioprocess Insider. I'm here with Gerben Zijlstra from Sartorius Stedim Biotech. Gerben, welcome.
Thank you very much, Dan.
We're going to talk about process intensification. Essentially, why is process intensification so important for the biomanufacturing industry?
Well, it's kind of the next logical step in terms of efficiency. And it's especially important in combination with single-use applications. What we see is that if you start producing in single-use facilities, which only go up to 2,000 liter scale, then naturally the output of such a single-use facility is much less than the traditional stainless steel facilities. What you can do is use the advantage of single-use facilities in terms of low initial investment costs and flexibility, and combine that with the output that you also can get from a traditional stainless steel facility. This is what intensification can do for you.
And you mentioned the cost. Obviously, the initial outlay for a single-use facility is a lot less than stainless steel. But how does the overall sort of running cost compare when you're replacing single-use parts and compared with a stainless steel facility?
So those costs will be slightly higher, obviously, because of the consumable use and the material use. However, if you look at the cost of goods, and we've done some extensive calculations, then you can really produce around, let's say, $50 per gram for monoclonal antibodies, also in these intensified single-use facilities, which is pretty comparable to what you could do in the large stainless steel facility. So you have the benefits of the low initial investment, you have the benefits of acceptable cost of goods, and you have the flexibility to deal with the variation in your product portfolio. So it's kind of the best of both worlds. And for instance, we see companies like Amgen that have trialed this model in their Singapore facility, now also investing in a similar facility in Rhode Island. So I think that proves the point of this intensification being the right track forward.
And you mentioned sort of commercial manufacturing there. Are we at the stage where single-use technologies and this enabling sort of technology can produce biologics at the sort of volumes that big blockbuster drugs would require?
I would say yes. I would say yes. Currently, we see kind of a split in what is happening out there. If you have a blockbuster, and let's say you need to produce 2,000 kilograms per year, then let's say copying the proven and tested stainless steel facility approach is still okay. However, there's also an increasing need for flexibility, and this has to do with the changing modalities like MAPS. Not only MAPS, but also dia bodies and all the different formats that are out there, and also the differences in market size. Since they are really hard to predict, also in terms of the increasing competition, what we see is that this flexibility is filling a need. And this flexibility you can achieve with the intensified facilities with using single-use technologies. Yeah.
What sort of technologies is Sartorius seeing its customers demand in the process intensification space?
So the real big gaps have been in the process development, but also in the retention system arena. So for the process development, Sartorius now recently has launched the Amber 250 perfusion, and now for the first time in history, the companies have the ability to develop the intensified processes pretty much the same way as they've been used to doing that with fed batch. So we're at an equal playing field now for perfusion type of approaches and fed batch type of approaches, because we can use the same development tools, taking away the risk at larger scale when we scale up. So I think this is what Sartorius has added to the equation, and it's pretty unique, and there's an extreme enthusiasm all around the globe in endorsing this new technology. It opens the door.
So what sort of percentage of your customers would want new perfusion technologies over more traditional fed batch? Is that going up?
It's absolutely going up. you see this as an absolute trend. One of the first things that we see happening is that customers endorse the so-called N-1 perfusion approach, meaning you can inoculate your main bioreactor at higher cell density, so you skip a few days that you would normally run at low cell density, and this leads to either shorter runs, so let's say you go from 14 days back to 8 days, and that means you can do more runs from the same facility using this N-1 perfusion approach. And it can easily be implemented within existing facilities, so it's kind of a necessary must-have for most companies. And this is now taking a huge leap. And developing these N-1 short perfusions in your C train is being enabled, fully automated with the Amber 250 perfusion.
And really, this is the first steps of moving towards continuous processing, right?
Absolutely true. So we divide, let's say, roughly two categories. So process intensification is the natural evolution that we always have in gaining efficiency throughout, through constant improvements. The next level is to go to the fully continuous processes, where you have long-term perfusion in combination with fully continuous downstream processing. So we see a lot of companies like Merck as one of the proponents, and many others that are using sandbox development labs to try and grasp this technology. It's still very complicated. There's a lot of things that need to be developed, but definitely it has huge potential if you realize that you can maintain your product quality at a very high level. So the bandwidth in variation of your product quality is much tighter, so the product quality is better essentially. And secondly, it allows you to shrink your facility footprint to an absolute minimum. So it's, I think, the perfect vehicle for localized manufacturing in very compact facilities. And by the way, Sartorius has recently hired David Pollard, let's say the lead person for the continuous initiative at Merck. So we are extremely happy to have him on board, and I think this is also a sign of our commitment towards moving further in this direction.
Do you think we'll ever get to a stage where there are drugs on the market that are made in a fully continuous manner?
I think so. It's a question of time, and all the issues we see are technical, so they can be solved. If the business case is there, and this is still another aspect that needs to be addressed, and the technological limitations have been solved, then I think we can move in that direction. And in fact, we are working together with some customers that really try to push things in this direction. Yeah.
My final question, I'm going to switch gear completely now. We're at Biotech Week Boston, and Sartorius has announced that it's working in unison with Repligen. Could you tell me briefly what product that is, and why you've decided to team up with Repligen?
Yeah, we are extremely excited with this collaboration. I think Repligen has a number of technologies that are absolutely amazing. To mention a few, the ATF technology, which is industry leading, the filter technology for the ATF systems, also the Opus downstream processing technology that they have. So we're extremely excited to work with Repligen. The focus of this collaboration is mainly on two things. It's firstly to use the Amber 250 perfusion process development tool with the filters supplied by Repligen, so we can really use the Amber 250 perfusion to develop processes that are suitable for ATF at larger scale. And the second aspect is that we are integrating the ATF control functionality in our bioreactor system. So we can have perfusion ready bioreactors that make the execution of perfusion, which is typically considered more complicated than normal fed batch. So we can make that extremely easy with recipes and the full package, the full perfusion package on top of our bioreactor. So As I said before, extremely excited about this collaboration, and again, I think this will help industry adopting perfusion type of approaches and process intensification even more.
Historically, Sartorius has always been a company that, when it needs a technology, has either developed it in-house or gone down the acquisition route. Why, in this instance, have you teamed up with someone who could be seen as a rival vendor?
I see it more as complementary. I think, and this is absolutely no secret, ATF is dominating the perfusion market, and it's being used far and wide. So for us, teaming up with the absolute industry leader makes sense. So yeah, it's a natural fit, I would say. And it also will propel, let's say, the Sartorius products along with the ATF technology to a higher level.
Any plans in the future to work directly with any other vendors, or not yet?
There's always plans, but unfortunately I can't tell you anymore. But I think giving the two examples of the collaboration with Repligen and also having David Pollard on board of our R&D team really shows our commitment towards further investing in the intensified arena. So yeah.
Well, Gerben, thank you very much for speaking to me today. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Dan.